I can't fully remember what all I've said in the past about this show the last time I did a Survivor Series review series, but I do know this. Is sometimes opinions can change, perspectives change over time, what have you. But going back and watching portions of Survivor Series 2000, watching the show over again, I can feel confident at this time and say that I was surprised with how much I liked this show. This was pretty good stuff. It was better than I remembered it being. Now, I always remember how much I loved the main event and the story that led up to it and how it culminated here in a way. That I remember and that I know I always talk about with great praise. But there was more to this show than just that. For me, I'm a layered type of wrestling fan. I like a bunch of different things, and when packaged together, that can make to me that perfect type of masterpiece show. But if you've got a bunch of great story and production and card structure, but the in ring action sucks, not a great show. On the flip side, if the in ring action is tremendous, but there's no story, there's nothing of consequence that really happens, the production is poor, the card structure is poor, the flow of the show is poor, again, that doesn't make it a good show either. I like bits and pieces and elements of many different things to make a really good show. And when I look at Survivor Series 2000, this is to me an example of while maybe nothing was like perfectly great, there were a lot of really good things about this show that made this a really good, solid show. I really loved the flow and the feel of the show. I liked some, emphasize again, some of the storylines heading into the show. Some of them. I love the way that this card was structured and it built upon itself throughout the night, and it seemed like all the matches were perfectly in place and each did their job for what they were supposed to do, which is always a big deal to me. You had some good in ring action here, and you had some matches that were booked exactly how they should have been booked. Makes a really good show to me. Like you look at the one of the traditional Survivor Series tag matches on this card. You've got the Radicals taking on DX. You've brought the Radicals in. You need to establish them, showcase them, spotlight them a little bit. And that's what they do here. They send them up against DX, not the DX involving Shawn Michaels, Triple H, so on. But, this is a DX that still has Road Dogg, still has Billy Gunn. For some reason, it has K Quick, but it had China too. So this was a good appearance for the Radicals. This was a good way to spotlight and feature them. This was a good way to try to get them over with the WWF audience at the time. I like that. Kane Jericho, solid mid card stuff. Just a feud. No titles involved, just a feud. And two talented guys. Good stuff. I mean, I like that type of stuff. Like one thing that surprised me a little bit here is with Kurt Angle and The Undertaker being for the title. A lot of other times with shows, if the world title match isn't the main event or at least maybe the semi-main event, I'm probably going to crap all over that decision in terms of the card structuring, and I'm going to crap all over that decision, and as a result, probably crap all over the show. But Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker was not the spotlighted feud heading into Survivor Series 2000. In fact, it wasn't even the second most important feud heading into Survivor Series 2000. As a result, I feel it was perfectly placed on the card where it was as the third to last match. And this is where I thought they did a good job as a company of trying to stack the second half of the card, but splitting things up appropriately. You've got this featured match here, which is the second of the two big matches for Survivor Series 2000. You've kind of got Kurt Angle and Taker there. It's important because it's for the title, but it's not this storyline, and it's not the storyline that is main eventing the show that is the biggest draw for this show. So it was perfectly positioned. Angle Taker was okay, but it wasn't great, but it wasn't supposed to be great because you didn't want to take away from what was going to happen later on in the main event between Triple H and Austin. So I'm not going to knock the company for that. I applaud the company for that. I applaud Kurt Angle and Undertaker for trying to do a good job but not do too good of a job because they had to understand that this wasn't the most important thing on the night. Now, I will say, I've never liked the Rock and Rikishi feud. I was pissed off at the time, and still am to a degree, that they ever turned Rikishi heel like this. I understand from Rikishi's standpoint at the time, they're presenting this to him. He's over as a babyface, but he's never going to get to the top as a babyface. The easiest and best path for him, and perhaps the only path to him ever truly getting to the top, getting to that top 5 to 8 in the company, is on the heel side. And they come to you and they say, if we turn you heel and we make you a pivotal part of the storyline, having you be the one in the car that hit Austin at Survivor Series 99, you know what, man? You're going to get to work with The Rock because The Rock was getting blamed for it and it was a logical conclusion for a lot of people to jump to that he would have been the one behind it because he was such a big rival with Austin. You're going to get to work with Austin. You're going to get to work at some point in time, perhaps with Triple H, maybe Taker. There's a lot that's appealing, obviously, for a Rikishi at this time. You know that you might not want to turn heel. You might know that the fans might not fully get behind it. But you also are looking at perhaps 12 to 18, even maybe 24 months of top tier work as a heel with big time payouts accordingly. You have to do it. Have to give it a shot. And he did. And he tried. And the WWF tried. But I don't think his heart was ever into it. Frankly, I don't think the company's heart was ever into it. And I most certainly know the fans' heart were never into it. And it just didn't work. And you're going to send him as a heel at The Rock. The Rock. I did it for you. I did it for you. I did it for the people. It was just bad. There's the Samoan family connection there. There's all types of stuff. And it's just like they're setting up Rikishi to look stupid at the expense of The Rock. And it just became a Rock showcase piece. And it was just dumb. I mean, did you ever really think, go back at 2000, that Rikishi had any shot in the world of going over on Rock? Did you really ever think that at any point in time did they ever really truly present this in a way that made this feud believable or anything you would want to engage yourself in? This is one of these things that once you dive into it, you've got to wrap it up and you got to go there and you've got to finish it up. But you're happy when it's over and you can't wait for it to be over. Yeah, the match is stupid because I don't care. Because I never cared. I hated the feud. I hated the storyline between these two guys, and I always hated the fact that it was nothing more than a Rock showcase piece, and it robbed me of good, fun-loving times. Babyface Rikishi. Just a lot of things about this sucked. Thank God this wasn't the primary storyline. It was only the secondary storyline that Survivor Series 2000 was built around. Thank God this match didn't main event. Because otherwise my feelings about this show would be entirely different. But it didn't main event because the primary draw for this show was Austin getting his revenge on Triple H in the main event. And just so many things work about this. When they had Austin get hit by the car at Survivor Series 99, you know, they were pointing you so much in the direction, well, for a while, of it being The Rock that you knew something else was there. And I always had this sneaky suspicion that it might be Triple H was either the guy driving or he orchestrated it, had somebody else do the hit for him. And you know what? Look who benefited so much. And that was Triple H's on screen logic and rationale for it, and it worked. So now Austin gets the chance to get his hands on the guy that tried to kill him, or at the very least end his career and his livelihood a year earlier at Survivor Series 1999. Here's his chance at revenge. And now you've got Triple H, who's been established as one of the top guys. He's been one of the real safe, kind of stable mainstays for the company while Austin was out of commission. Now we get that big feeling type of revenge match that's a year in the fucking making. I love these type of matches. You don't get them all the time. But when you do, man, they have that special type of feel to them. They really, truly do. When you could build up to that monster for an extended period of time, yeah, man, there's nothing quite like it. And that's what we got here with Triple H and Austin. And man, this match kicks ass. This is so many things of what a main event to a Big Four WWF/E pay-per-view should be. It was worked the right way. It was booked the right way. It had the right stipulation. And it most certainly and especially had the perfect finish. And just thinking about this from my standpoint, if I've got somebody that a year ago tried to kill me or at least end my ability to earn a living, if I've got the chance to get my hands on them in a cage or in a ring, I'm not going to give a shit about winning the fight because I'm fuck. I want to do to him what he attempted to do to me. I want to maim the guy. I want to try and ruin the guy. I want to try and destroy the guy. I want to fuck this asshole up. And that is all that matters to me. I would look like an idiot if I sat there and focused more on trying to win the cage match or trying to win the damn, street fighter boxing match, whatever the case might be, whatever type of fight or come to blows there was, a back alley brawl, whatever the fuck. The only thing I care about is getting revenge. I don't give a fuck about winning the fucking fight. Period. And that was the whole approach of Austin here. And that was the whole mindset of Austin here. And it was genius because it made so much fucking sense. This is the heart of the Attitude Era in 2000 with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who a year earlier had been run over by a car, put out of commission for a year, a plan that was masterminded by the guy that he was going to face here in the main event of Survivor Series 2000. There was only one way for this match to finish, and that was exactly the finish that this match had, with Triple H getting in the car, Austin picking him up, and then dropping the car upside down onto the ground below. You don't need a clean finish, because it would have been completely ridiculous to sit there and Austin comes back to get his revenge, and he gets his revenge by hitting a stunner and pinning Triple H in the center of the ring 1, 2, 3. No, that's dumb. It's fucking stupid, and it accomplishes nothing. And it gives you zero feeling of real satisfaction. Having Austin be out for a year, getting his hands on the guy that tried to end his career and perhaps his life, and dumping that guy and the car that he's in upside down from like 20 plus feet up, smack dab onto the concrete below, is the perfect type of gratifying, satisfying finish that you want to see, that you need to see. This is the type of well thought out, genius yet simple, effective finish that we used to get from this company that we really don't anymore. But by God did this work, and by God was this a perfect finish to a great main event, one of the great Survivor Series matches of all time, beyond question. And this was a good show. Was it the best Survivor Series of all time? No, that's Survivor Series 1997. Was this the best show, perhaps top to bottom? No, that's probably Survivor Series 2002. But like I said, going back and watching this, I guess maybe I was always of the mindset that I thought this was a one-match show. It wasn't. There was a lot more to like about this show than I originally envisioned or remembered there being. This was good. If you want a good Survivor Series to go back and watch, Survivor Series 2000 is one of them because the company did a lot of good things on this night.